It has been said that when injustice becomes law, resistance becomes duty. Um, I want to talk to you about a couple of different people today and a couple of ideas that I think are important. And um, the first man I want to talk to you about, his name is Gordon Hirabayashi. Gordon Hirabayashi was born in 1918 and died a couple of days ago. He was a Japanese man or of Japanese descent. He was born in Seattle, and he was um, sent to, or he was, you know, supposed to go to the Japanese internment camp. He resisted that and um, said he wouldn't go. Eventually, he turned himself in and served some amount of time in prison, and uh, he was convicted of something from this. Well, he went all the way to the Supreme Court. In 1986 or 87, I think it was, he was exonerated and apologized to. And I think that he had spent most of his life working on sociology, and he taught at a college in Canada for a long time. Is where he ended up. And one of the things that he said, there was a time when I felt the Constitution had failed me. But with this reversal in the courts and a public statement from the government, I feel our country has proven that the Constitution is worth upholding. The U.S. government admitted it made a mistake. A country can do this as a strong country. I have more faith and allegiance to the Constitution than I have ever had before. Um, he says, also says, I would also say that if you believe in something, if you think the Constitution is a good one, and if you think the Constitution protects you, you better make sure that the Constitution is actively operating, and, in other words, constant vigilance. Otherwise, it's a scrap of paper. We had the Constitution to protect us in 1942. It didn't because the will of the people weren't behind it. And I want to I think that's a really important message because we live in times now where people are not behind the Constitution. We don't support it as a nation. Most of us do. And how important is it that we get behind real constitutional um, government? It's critical, critical. We have um, you know nothing personal here, but there's some guys on here on YouTube that have expressed their dislike for Ron Paul, and I'm going to say that you have, I think, in a way, a flawed view of what's right, what has become right. And I think that, a couple of guys have said this, and it's that just because something is a law doesn't make it just. An unjust law is not a law at all. And there's, multitude of different people who have expressed resistance as something that is um, a good thing. That's not only a good thing; it's critical. And what is resistance to you? The resistance can go from anything from showing up to the Tea Party or to an Occupy movement or whatever it is that you participate in. That's some sort of resistance, political, thing to stop paying your taxes, civil disobedience, an armed conflict. These are all things that have happened in the past in our country. I mean, look up the Battle of Athens, armed conflict, solved the problem, restored the Constitution, and that restored the rule of law. Um, I think that we need to really figure out what we need to do at this point, what you need to do at this point to get to that point. I want to talk to you about another man. His name is Samuel Whitmore. Most people don't know who he is, but when the British forces were retreating from Lexington and Concord, the British troops, reinforcements were being sent out. And when this man, Samuel Whitmore, saw the reinforcements being sent out, he, let me read this here. Whitmore was in his fields when he spotted an approaching British relief brigade sent to assist the retreat. Whitmore loaded his musket and ambushed the British from behind a nearby stone wall, killing one soldier. He then drew his dueling pistols and killed a grenadier and mortally wounded a second. He managed to fire 3 shots before a British detachment reached his position. Whitmore then attacked with a sword. He was shot in the face, bayoneted 13 times, and left for dead in a pool of his own blood. He was found alive, trying to reload his musket to fight again, and was taken to a doctor who perceived no hope for his survival. However, Whitmore lived another 18 years until dying of natural causes at the age of 98. I think that we've gotten to a point in our society where we are more concerned, and guys like 13 Crystal Lake make fun of this, and I applaud him. We're more concerned with um, Snooki or Paris Hilton and whatever whatever they're doing, rather than being politically active, being active in our republic, and being good sovereigns of our nation. It makes me sad to think that we have come this far in such a great, beautiful experiment, and to throw it away on trash like Paris Hilton, on trash like video games, on trash like everything that's popular culture today. I hope that you will spread the message of liberty and freedom and of constitutionalism, and that we will that we'll become good Americans, hopefully, because when it comes down to it, a war is brewing, and that war is not necessarily a war of violence, but a war of ideals, a war of right and wrong. And are you going to be on the side that is for liberty and justice for all? I hope so. Thanks for watching.